There's a moment that happens to almost everyone over 60. You're sitting at your favorite restaurant, and when the server hands you the menu, you realize you can't quite make out the words anymore. Not clearly, not the way you used to. You hold it farther away, then closer, then farther again. And somewhere in that frustration, a quiet fear creeps in. Is this just the beginning? My name's Dr. Sarah Wilson, and I need to tell you something important, something most eye doctors never mention during a routine exam. The blurriness you're experiencing? It's not just about getting older. It's about what's happening inside your eyes right now, at this very moment. A slow breakdown that accelerates when your body doesn't get the specific nutrients your retina desperately needs to repair itself. And if you're living with diabetes or prediabetes, this process moves even faster. High blood sugar acts like sandpaper against the delicate blood vessels in your eyes, wearing them down day after day until suddenly your world loses its sharpness. But here's what gives me hope. After 3 decades of practicing medicine, your kitchen likely already contains 3 of the most powerful vision protectors on Earth. Not expensive prescriptions, not surgical interventions. Just 3 simple seeds that science has proven can rebuild retinal strength, reduce inflammatory damage, and in some cases, actually reverse early vision decline. Before we go any further, I'm curious. Where in the world are you watching from right now? Drop your city or country in the comments. I always love seeing how far this message travels. And it reminds all of us that protecting our vision's a universal concern, no matter where we call home. Today, I'm going to introduce you to 3 seeds that work in completely different ways to protect 3 different parts of your visual system. And I'll show you exactly how to use them, because taking them the wrong way can waste their potential entirely. Let's start with the first one. The first seed looks so unremarkable that most people walk right past it in the grocery store without a second glance. Flax seeds. Small, brown, or golden, easy to ignore. But inside each tiny seed's something your eyes are silently begging for, a type of healthy fat called alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA for short. Your body converts this into the omega-3 fatty acids that form the actual structure of your retinal cells. Think of it this way. If your retina were a house, omega-3s be the lumber that holds the walls together. Without enough of it, the structure starts to sag. Cells lose their flexibility, and the whole system becomes vulnerable to collapse. I'll never forget a conversation I had with a patient named Marcus about 5 years ago. He was 64, worked in construction his whole life, and came to me because he'd noticed something disturbing. When he looked at straight lines like the edge of a doorframe, they appeared wavy, distorted. He was terrified it meant something serious. His eye doctor noted early changes in his retina consistent with diabetic eye disease. His A1C was high. His diet was mostly fast food and convenience meals, and he admitted he hadn't thought much about nutrition in years. I asked him to try something simple. Grind 2 tablespoons of flax seeds fresh every morning and mix them into whatever he was already eating. Oatmeal, yogurt, even stirred into orange juice if that's what worked. He looked at me skeptically. "Doc, that's it? Just seeds?" I told him to trust the process for 8 weeks. Just 8 weeks of consistency. When he came back, something had shifted. Not just in his labs, though his triglycerides dropped significantly, but in his demeanor. He told me the waviness in his vision diminished. Not disappeared completely, but noticeably improved. He could read blueprints again without straining. That's the power of giving your retina the raw materials it needs to repair itself. Here's what the science tells us. When you consume ALA from flax seeds, your body works to convert it into EPA and DHA, the same omega-3s found in fish oil, but in a plant-based form that's often gentler on digestion. These fatty acids reduce inflammation throughout your entire body, but especially in the tiny, fragile blood vessels that feed your retina. Inflammation's the enemy of clear vision. It creates swelling, leakage, and eventually scarring. Omega-3s act like a fire extinguisher, cooling down that inflammatory response before it can cause permanent damage. But here's the critical detail most people miss. You cannot eat flax seeds whole and expect results. The outer shell's too hard. It passes through your digestive system completely intact, taking all those valuable oils with it. You must grind them fresh, ideally right before you eat them. A small coffee grinder works perfectly. Grind just what you need for that day. Mix it into your food and let your body absorb every bit of nutrition. The taste's mild, slightly nutty, and surprisingly pleasant. It blends into almost anything without taking over the flavor, and the consistency matters more than the amount. 1 to 2 tablespoons daily, every single day, is far more effective than taking a large amount sporadically. Marcus still checks in with me once a year. He's 69 now, still working part-time, still able to see the details that matter in his work. He credits those morning flax seeds with giving him back his confidence behind the wheel and on the job site. That's not a miracle. That's just what happens when you feed your body what it's been missing. If you're finding this helpful and you want to learn more science-backed strategies for protecting your vision naturally, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. I create content to help you take control of your health, and I'd love to have you here learning with me. The second seed on our list does something completely different. While flax seeds rebuild the structure of your retina, chia seeds focus on defense, protecting your eyes from the invisible damage that accumulates every single day. Chia seeds are loaded with antioxidants, and if you've heard that word thrown around without really understanding what it means, let me explain it in a way that makes sense. Every time you look at a screen, every time sunlight hits your eyes, every time you experience stress or eat processed foods, your body creates unstable molecules called free radicals. These molecules bounce around inside your cells like tiny wrecking balls, damaging DNA, breaking down proteins, and accelerating aging. Your eyes are especially vulnerable because they're constantly exposed to light, one of the biggest generators of free radicals. Over time, this creates something called oxidative stress, which is one of the primary drivers of cataracts, macular degeneration, and general vision decline. Antioxidants are your body's cleanup crew. They neutralize free radicals before they can cause damage, and chia seeds are absolutely packed with them. I had a patient named Catherine, a 58-year-old librarian who loved reading but had started experiencing severe eye fatigue. By mid-afternoon, her eyes burn and water. She developed sensitivity to fluorescent lighting, and she was worried she'd have to cut back her hours because the discomfort was becoming unbearable. When we ran some tests, everything looked structurally normal. No disease, no major abnormalities. But she was showing signs of chronic oxidative stress, likely from years of close-up work under harsh lighting without adequate nutritional support. I suggested she start making a simple chia pudding every evening. 3 tablespoons of chia seeds soaked in almond milk overnight, topped with a handful of berries in the morning. She was skeptical. She'd never even heard of chia pudding before, but she agreed to try it for a month. 3 weeks in, she called my office just to tell me she'd made it through an entire week without her eyes burning once. The light sensitivity'd faded. She could read comfortably again for hours at a time. What happened? The antioxidants in the chia seeds, combined with the anti-inflammatory omega-3s they also contain, had started reducing the background inflammation and oxidative damage her eyes had been fighting against for years. Chia seeds also contain something crucial for vision that most people don't know about: zinc. Zinc's essential for transporting vitamin A from your liver to your retina, where it's converted into the pigments that allow you to see in low light. Without adequate zinc, people develop night blindness, that frightening experience of not being able to see clearly when the sun goes down. For older adults, especially those with diabetes, zinc deficiency's surprisingly common. And the beautiful thing about chia seeds is they deliver zinc in a form that's easy for your body to absorb and use. The texture of chia seeds, when soaked's unique. Soft, slightly gelatinous, almost comforting. Some people love it immediately. Others need a few tries to get used to it. But once it becomes part of your routine, it's one of the easiest healthy habits you'll ever build. You can make chia pudding, stir them into smoothies, sprinkle them over salads, or even mix them into baked goods. They're neutral in flavor, so they take on whatever you pair them with. Catherine still makes her chia pudding every week. She's 63 now, still working full-time, still reading voraciously. And her eyes, she tells me, feel younger than they did 5 years ago. The third seed's one you've probably eaten before, maybe at a fall festival or roasted as a snack. Pumpkin seeds. But what you might not know is that they contain a specific combination of nutrients that directly protect the most important part of your vision, your macula. The macula's the tiny central area of your retina responsible for sharp, detailed vision. It's what allows you to recognize faces, read small print, and see colors vividly. And as we age, it becomes incredibly vulnerable. Macular degeneration's now the leading cause of vision loss in people over 60. And once it progresses, there's very little medicine can do to reverse it. Prevention's everything. Pumpkin seeds contain 2 critical nutrients, lutein and zeaxanthin, that concentrate naturally in the macula and act like a protective shield against blue light and oxidative damage. Think of them as internal sunglasses. They filter out the most harmful wavelengths of light before they can damage the delicate cells in your central vision. I worked with a woman named Patricia, a 71-year-old grandmother who came to me in tears because her ophthalmologist had told her she was developing early dry macular degeneration. She was terrified of going blind, terrified of losing her ability to see her grandchildren's faces clearly. Her doctor had told her there was no cure, which is true. But I told her there were absolutely things we could do to slow the progression and potentially stop it from getting worse. One of the simplest changes we made was adding a 1/4 cup of roasted pumpkin seeds to her daily routine. She'd eat them plain as a snack or sprinkle them over soup or salad. Within 6 months, her follow-up scan showed no further progression. Her macula had stabilized. The density of protective pigment in her central vision actually increased. Her doctor was surprised. Patricia was overjoyed. And I reminded her that this wasn't luck. This was her body responding to the tools it needed to protect itself. Pumpkin seeds also contain high levels of vitamin E, a powerful fat-soluble antioxidant that protects cell membranes from breaking down. And they're rich in magnesium, which improves blood flow to the eyes and helps prevent the muscle tension that often leads to headaches and eye strain. The beauty of pumpkin seeds, how versatile they are. You can buy them raw and roast them yourself with a little olive oil and sea salt. You can toss them into trail mix. You can even grind them into a powder and add them to smoothies or baked goods. They've got a rich, satisfying crunch and a mild, nutty flavor that most people genuinely enjoy. Patricia's 76 now. Her macular degeneration hasn't progressed. She still drives, she still quilts, she still watches her grandkids play soccer from the sidelines, and every time I see her, she thanks me for giving her hope when she thought there was none. So here's what we've covered today. Flax seeds provide the omega-3 fats your retina needs to rebuild and repair its cellular structure. Especially critical if you're dealing with diabetic eye changes or general inflammation. Chia seeds deliver antioxidants and zinc to protect against oxidative stress and support night vision. Perfect if you're experiencing eye fatigue, light sensitivity, or difficulty seeing in dim environments. Pumpkin seeds supply lutein, zeaxanthin, vitamin E, and magnesium to shield your macula from degeneration and preserve your sharp central vision. These 3 seeds work together like a complete vision protection system. Each one addresses a different vulnerability. Each one supports your eyes in a unique way. And the best part? You don't need all 3 every single day. You can rotate them throughout the week. Monday, Grind flax into your oatmeal. Wednesday, make chia pudding. Friday, snack on roasted pumpkin seeds. Simple, sustainable, effective. The key's consistency. Your eyes don't repair themselves overnight, but give them the nutrients they need day after day, week after week, and you'll start to notice the difference. Clearer vision, less strain, more confidence. If this information felt valuable to you, I'd love for you to do a few things. First, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, and I mean all the way, type, "I watched till the end" in the comments below. I read every single comment, and it helps me know that this content's reaching the people who truly need it. Plus, it tells YouTube that this information matters, which means more people will get to see it. Second, tell me which seed you're going to start with: flax, chia, or pumpkin. Are you going to grind flax into your morning oatmeal, make a chia pudding tonight, or grab a handful of roasted pumpkin seeds this afternoon? Let me know. I genuinely love hearing how people are taking action. Third, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another video on protecting your health naturally as you age. We're building a community here of people who refuse to accept decline as inevitable, and I'd be honored to have you as part of it. And finally, if you know someone who's struggling with their vision or managing diabetes, a parent, a spouse, a friend, share this video with them. Sometimes the simplest piece of information shared at the right moment can genuinely change the trajectory of someone's life. Also, tell me in the comments what health topics you want me to cover next. What are you struggling with? What questions do you have? I'll do my research and make a video on it. Your eyes are worth protecting. Your independence is worth fighting for. And you've got more power than you realize to support both. Starting today, starting in your own kitchen. Thank you for being here. Take care of yourself. I'm Dr. Sarah Wilson. See you in the next video.